Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock on this 25th day of August. Thank you for keeping it here in the Situation Room with us. And as we get into a conversation this hour, we're glad that you've joined in. Jennifer Atenyi, good morning. I see you. Apologies for that, but Karibu Sana. Thank you for being here. Your love, Dennis, is awake and with us. It's great. This hour, we're going to be looking into the state of the nation, and that's how we start off our conversation this hour. And we're looking at the 2027 strategy with two political government affairs and political analyst. Dr. Muita Ndungu is a government affairs and public policy expert and is here with us again in the Situation Room. Good morning.
Good morning, Ndu.
Karibu Sana.
The last time I was here, I did not bring my salams from the people of Kiambu.
You know, you must always bring salams.
So, Pokeni salam from the people of Kiambu, all 60 wards and 12 constituencies.
You used to be told, ukipokea unafanya, tumepokea.
Yeah. And also you're told, ukirudi,
fikisha salamu
zetu.
Salamu tapeleka.
Sawa, sawa. Bosco Kiura is a political analyst and he too is here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu Sana.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, both of you. And we're looking at strategies, if there are any, or if the necessity of there to be strategies. And we're looking at the state of the nation generally. There are many balls in the air at the moment. And taking a look at what all of this is going to look like then in the run-up to an election. And we will have the conversation. So thank you both for doing this with us this morning. You'll be interested to know where Dennis is this week.
Yes, Morocco. So you go to Morocco and their souks very colorful. I think about their designs, especially on their tiling, their pottery looks really beautiful. Also their texture, their fabric, really, really nice. But there is something who does not like their food called couscous.
In this one restaurant.
In this one restaurant.
Where they serve
she did not like
the
couscous.
one. Okay.
That you experience in Morocco, right? But there is harira, which is also the traditional soup. And there is mint tea, which is often called the Moroccan national drink. So if you visit, just to know, couscous right, then you can challenge and do it on with the other.
No, I agree completely with it. Ndu. I had an opportunity to go to Marrakesh. The couscous was not good.
Was not good.
But
those two restaurants you went to,
it's possible that it's only those two restaurants that served.
There's a possibility. Yeah. But let's go to the probably. I pointed out to you the stars, and all you saw was the tip of my finger. I pointed out to you the stars, and all you saw was the tip of my finger. Bosco, how would you interpret it?
I pointed to you the stars, and what you saw was my fingers.
The tip of my finger.
The tip of the finger. Yeah, looking at the stars, stars associated with winning and someone being high there. I think looking at it, I would think about someone who has won and the other person is just seeing maybe the weak point of this person or the weak point of this area. So most people, if you wear a white suit, people will not see, people will always see how clean you are with the suit. But if you have some mud thrown at you, people, when you meet someone the first time, will say, oh, you have a nice suit. And what happened to the... So people will always see that small bad thing in the midst of all the good things you have done.
Well said. Dr. How would you interpret it?
I'd say people see what they want to see. No matter what you show them, you know, they will only see what they want to see. I think it's just sometimes human nature. They might not see the big picture. They might not see the stars.
Yeah.
All they're seeing is your finger.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alienda maniki.
The limitations of the human mind sometimes when you can imagine, I read something and looking at really, we don't know what stars are like. That it's not, we just imagine that it's a little twinkling thing in the sky. But people who've been able to study them, it's a mass of light and movement and all kinds of things happening at the same time. And it's actually quite magnificent to behold for people who've been able to get close enough. So you can imagine that I'm showing you something so magnificent, but you now, your mental limitation are looking at my finger. Anyway.
Yeah, because I can relate to the manicure.
Yeah.
Nipati to Kokoni. That's all I think about. But the magnificent imaging that is out there is beyond you. So yes, people choose to see what they want.
Yeah, people choose to see what they want, indeed. All right, okay. Well, choosing to see what we want, or actually what is the situation in the state of the nation at the moment, and to say that all eyes are on the election coming in 2027, and that it will be foolhardy of anyone not to imagine that doesn't play a significant, or doesn't have a significant effect on the day-to-day business of Kenyans and those who live in Kenya. So if we look at what's going on at the moment, we start with you, Daktari.
Yes.
There are many moving parts at at this time, where there's a security issue, there are political parties, who's registered, who doesn't want to be president. Is it possible for us to make sense of what's going on at the moment?
Yeah, partially, yes.
Okay.
It's possible to make some sense.
Okay.
I think just like you rightly said, we are 1 year. Actually, it's 350 days
Yes.
now to the election. There are a lot of moving parts, but with time, I think things will settle down. I think yesterday we had the State of the Nation addressed by Rigathi Gachagua.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Yeah. His State of the Nation.
Yeah.
That's his version of the State of the Nation. Where he pointed out a couple of things. The three key things that I got from that, I think he was on a 56-day,
55-day
conclave
journey
to
find himself, or to listen to the ground. And he talked about the keeping the government accountable. He talked about Ruto must go, and the need for one presidential candidate. And then he did say that he was that candidate, and he would actually move outside Mount Kenya to begin selling himself or engaging with other leaders. And I think that's the same with every political party. Everybody is now in the kitchen cooking, preparing. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail. So all the different political alignments are actually making different plans and looking at the different moving parts. And I would say, politics, one of the things I've learned about politics is that 1 day is like 1,000 years. 350 days is a very long time in politics. 2 days in politics is a long time. So we'll keep saying this until the very end. There's a lot of juggling. There are alignments that will be done. There will be realignments that will be done. So that's my expectation of what is happening. But we could go deeper into those alignments and how they look, and maybe we can begin to see some headway in where we are heading.
I mean, Bosco, if you look at the different strategies being applied by different individuals, because then again, many would say, what? When Kibaki was, Raila said Kibaki Tosha, it was like 3 months too. And we're not in a hurry, we're still strategizing. But Kenyans as well out here are calling for, tell us who it is, so that we can either fix it early, so that we can see what exactly this person is made out of. But that seemingly does not seem to be swaying the political class to what Mwananchi is preferring at the moment.
Thank you very much for this question. Actually, it's a very interesting time during Katiba 16.
Yes.
16, yeah.
So it is something to think about, our democracy, how far we have come. And even before I get to what you're talking about, when you talk about Katiba 16, we had times that there's high demand of good governance. There's high demand of better leadership. We are at a place where a grandmother in the village is able to know about the finance bill. Finance bill is not new. It has been there all the years.
Yeah.
And it is a time that they are interesting times to be in. If, who is it, for example, if Raila Odinga or Jomo Kenyatta or the people who fought for this country would wake up today and find how far we have come, would be excited in Ukuamisha, would be excited and disappointed.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. Yeah, as you said. So for me, I think we are somewhere in terms of democracy. At the same time, when you talk about the political parties, I keep saying each political party in this country has its owner or its people. Okay? the political parties we have had initially, over the years, may not be what the people who fought for democracy, for multi-party democracy, be what they expected. Because each and every political party belongs to a certain community or a certain person. Okay? Let's start there. So even as we move to 2027, when you look at these leaders who are coming together, well divided into some ethnic groups, okay? They are divided into different ethnic groups, saying, Rigiji keeps saying, you, Kalonzo, bring your 3 million, me, I bring my 7 million, the other one brings the other millions. So we are still divided into ethnic groups, as we also talk about political parties. So for me, political parties, they have a long way to go to get to what the multi-party democracy, the spirit of the multi-party democracy that was fought for by our forefathers, what they expected and what they wanted is different from what we are having today.
Do you think that will change in the 350 days that Dr. Ndungu has said, those are many days? Do you think that if you didn't start something the way in which it was supposed to, that somewhere along the line you will change? Political parties, by and large, are not based on ideology. They may pick up some ideology along the way, but generally, they started because somebody wanted a vehicle through which their expediency could be realized. That's the truth. We can color it so many ways, but that is how, at least, it is perceived. And we do know that perception in politics plays a big role. So, is there a way along the way that you're going to change? Because we can look at them right now and we know the political parties and what tribal cocoon that they're formed around.
We may not change much as we move to 2027 because if you look at the previous elections, political parties have been used as vehicles to get me from point A to B. And when I get to B, I disband it, I do whatever I do to it, I color it something different, and now I say I've now a new vehicle. Typical, for example, Wiper Democratic Movement, PLP. We had Mother Karua. Previously, he had what? This Green Party. Not Kenya. Now it's a new thing. Wiper had a new thing, had a different Wiper Democratic Movement. Now it's something Wiper Democratic Forum. So I'm just giving examples. I have nothing personal against this political party. I'm just saying we have had political parties in the previous elections that the only work during that time of the elections. Will we get to the day that we'll have a political party that will go for 3-4 elections? Kama KANU, for example. We still have KANU, but is it the KANU that Moi had? It's not. You realize political parties normally die with the person. I can give you examples. KANU, it is after the death of that person.
Okay.
ODM now is already in the ICU, almost dying because of the death of the person. So, among other political parties I can mention. So, what I'm saying is, if we have to change to be CCM, to be this other political party in South Africa is called what? ANC. So, for us to get there, ANC, for example, is very strong.
Extremely.
Yeah. It can fire their own presidential candidate and tell him, bro, you are not taking us in the right way. Can you step down? Okay? For us to get to that level in this country, we have to do a lot of push-ups in terms of politics.
Dr. What will it take? Because we are compared with major democracies. You look at the United States, there are 2 political parties that carry the day. You go to UK, there are 2 political parties that fight it out. We have other small parties, but they're predominantly 2 that have been there for a very long time, and people identify with this. But in Kenya now we have 90, over 90. Now Linda Mwananchi is becoming maybe the 92nd as well, if they get to be registered, What will it take for us to say that we understand these politics and we identify with an ideology, not a vehicle for expediency?
Okay. First of all, allow me to disagree.
Yeah.
I think things are going to change.
Yeah.
There's a few years back we were talking about a political tsunami. There's going to be a super El Nino that is going to sweep this country.
The earthquake.
A political super El Nino. anything that is not grounded is going to be washed out.
All right.
That's my personal view. Why do I say this? We have a new generation of the electorate demographics are changing. If you look at some of the upcoming political parties, and I'm not here to blow their horn, the Safinas, the Renaissance movement, even our own other political parties, they are grounded on some ideology. But I want to agree with, to the extent that in Kenya, political parties are a means to an end. There's a lack of seriousness when we are forming political parties. It's just a vehicle for us to achieve the goal. Once we're in government, we don't even follow the ideology. And one easy way of knowing this is the mergers. You know, in for example, what you mentioned in the US and in the UK, because political parties are driven by ideology. Yeah. There are certain there's no meeting of minds because our ideologies are completely opposite of each other. In Kenya today, majority of the political parties seem to be social democrats. And that goes back to Raila Odinga and his history in Germany. He's always been a social democrat, so that we have to give him credit for. So you find a party like ODM has maintained its social democracy aspect. If you look at the only other person who stuck to his ideology was actually Mwai Kibaki in PNU. He was a conservative
economist.
He believed in free markets, liberalism. That was his style. Yeah. But apart from that, everybody else seems to be confused. They don't know what they are. Everybody is a social democrat because social democracy. What does social democracy mean? It means big government projects. And what do big government projects in Kenya mean?
Money.
It means money, isn't it? It means that you have big projects where you can hide and loot and do all these different things. So social democracy is popular for that. You provide all sorts of free things for free people, but while you're doing that, you're lining your pockets. Is social democracy something that is good for Kenya? It's a debate that we need to have. I don't think Kenya's economy is one that supports social democracy. There has to be some social interventions, but big programs is a problem. So going back to your question, I think with increased voter civic education, people know what they want. People kind of have a feeling of what the government they want the government to do and not to do. So, for example, I ascribe to libertarian principles, which means lean government. If you ask most Kenyans, they'll tell you, we don't want big government. Why should we have 22 cabinet ministers?
47 counties.
Yeah. Why should so the idea of lean government not taking over too many social programs, reducing the wage bill, cutting cost on recurrent expenditure. Kenyans know these things. They just don't know how to position them in the political spectrum of what ideology this is. Yeah. So people know what they want, but maybe we need to do more education in terms of like your ideas. This is what you believe in, so you fit in this box.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so is it perhaps time that we look, because the idea of political parties, whether we like it or not, is borrowed. That Kenya decided in its governance that in order for you to be in government or to then participate, that you needed to be in this formation called a political party, without necessarily looking at how they started in ancient Greece, Rome, whatever the case, where they all came together and said, you know what, the meeting of minds then makes us come together on an idea, and we can say we want to be part of government or governance and leadership in the country because this is what we believe in. And that is what propelled you. You cannot catch an ideology like you catch a cold. You can't. If you it's not just and then get rid of it later. You have to have it. So is it time, Bosco, that we say, you know what, let the political parties in Kenya just be for that. Let it be, because constitutionally, in order for you to participate, you either are forming a party or you are an independent. And in order for you to form government, you then must be in the majority. Is it time, instead of us to try, because we've been trying to box into this thing for so long, and it doesn't seem to work. There are countries where it has worked. The example that you've given of South Africa. But is it time that you to say, okay, you know what, fine. You need a vehicle, call it a political party. Because these are the things that you're asking people to do. They don't. It's not going to happen.
No political party is registered in this country without providing an ideology to the ORPP.
Doesn't necessarily mean they believe in it.
Yeah.
It's just like you can say that people's manifestos are all written by one man.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. So I'm now talking legally.
Yeah.
For you to register a political party. And I think I participated in one of the ways, registered in one of the political parties. For you to register a political party in this country, you need to provide an ideology to the registrar of political parties. Now, how you implement that ideology when it comes to the campaigns or the elections is something different. But what I think is the questions you're asking are answered. I can answer them this way. We have seen people being elected as independent, and the number has been growing exponentially year in, year out. Why? You need to ask yourself why. Because sometimes the people believe in Dennis and not the political party. The people believe in who he is and what they believe he can do for them, and not the political party. However, in most instances, watu wanavalishwa suti. Na hiyo suti imevaa kutoka juu mpaka chini, but shati iko na uchafu. What do I mean? You wear a suit, 6-piece, but one of the pieces is dirty, or there's bad leadership in one of them. So how we can get to this, because we have seen people enjoying and being excited about electing independent leaders. I've worked in Europe, and I told you the other day, and I worked in the European Parliament. I've participated in the politics in Europe. Until the day we will get to the level of electing political parties, we elect ideology of a certain political party, because that's what happens in Europe. I participated in Italy and also in Belgium. I will tell you what, they don't elect individuals. First of all, they first see you as a person who is in the party with the ideology that they are buying. So they will elect you. They will elect the people in that political party because they have that ideology. And so if they elect a person in that political party with that ideology, it does not necessarily have to be Bosco. They look at what is that. You know, there's the left, right.
The right wing and left wing. Yeah.
So they will go with, if you're electing the person on the right, he's in the right political party that has a social democracy or something. I don't know. If we get there in this country, is when the day that we'll say we have political parties that are working. Otherwise, these things we are having around here is
they're not political parties.
They are not political parties. They are something totally different. That's why I told you a political party belongs to a certain community or a certain individual. And when that person dies or comes out of the politics, the party itself dies.
Dr. There is a phenomenon out here that is as well.
I'll come back to that.
When you look at these political parties, there is always the aspect of, even now as we talk about the union or the coalitions that many are coming through with, there is always that kingmaker. You must kiss the ring for that presidency or for that leadership to make sense. Whether you want to look at UDA, as you speak at the moment, there's a kingmaker. You don't align with the president, you're out. You look at United Opposition right now, seemingly, Rigathi Gachagua is being looked at as the kingmaker. So you kiss my ring and you're good to go. And with that, then, you realize that the ideologies that, say, PLP would come with, or any other party would come with, the moment they kiss the ring, everything they believe and stand for disappear.
Actually, you know what? You're completely right. Where we are right now, ideology is for intellectuals in the university.
Okay.
Ideology is not for the manage. Ideology is not for the politicians themselves. You know, politicians want to get into power. I think Oburu says power. Tunataka power. How they get that power is the ideology is irrelevant to that, which is unfortunate for democracy in this country. So just to put it simply is that yes, even within political parties, you know one of the biggest problems we have in democracy is democracy within political parties. Okay. The last time I was here, we were talking about weak institutions in transitioning democracies. We have very weak institutions, and political parties are also weak institutions. Every year, my colleague here has just said that the registrar of political parties requires that you have an ideology. Political parties are also funded. Some political parties are also
Yeah.
funded by government. What do those political parties do with that funding? Have we ever investigated and looked at what they use that money? That money is meant to build the capacity of the political parties, strengthen the issues of ideology,
Civic
civic education, all those different things. But what do political parties do? If we called political party leaders here and told them, you received 8 billion, you received 7 billion, show us how you spent that money, I'm sure they will not be able to account for how that money has been spent. And I'm sure they're not interested. You know, people are comfortable with what they have if it is working for them. It may not work for the masses out there because, of course, if political parties stick to ideology, it means a better Kenya. We'll be choosing political parties based on ideology. There's no need for ethnic mobilization. There's no need for personality politics. Kenyans will be getting an ideological party that will serve them and meet their expectations. But as long as we don't have that, the politicians don't want that. If I can kiss the ring and get elected, so be it. Am I the best? Probably not. So internal political democracy is also, you know, we have had 1 or 2, 3 incidents. For example, there was an incident in Kirinyaga recently. And this has been one of the things that people have said about DCP. They are preferred candidates. Those preferred candidates might not be the candidates that the people want, but they're probably the candidates with the pass, right? So the party leadership likes them because they are loyal, or, you know, and the same thing used to happen in ODM. But for example, if you look at Luo Nyanza in ODM, or what is left of ODM, this time there's no coattails. There's no Baba's coattails.
There's no ring to
There's
kiss.
no ring to kiss. So if you're not on the ground doing your work, there's no one to give you a free party nomination. Now it's going to be free and fair. So internal democracy in political parties, if that could be strengthened, we could have a better Kenya.
All right, let's take a break at this point. We're looking at the state of the nation. In this case, looking at what political parties actually do have to offer. I'm going to pick on what you said, Bosco, a little bit when we come back from the break, because then we have to ask the question around, so what are we actually delivering? And on what then tenets do you deliver this leadership? We'll come back and discuss that in a short while. Stay with us.
This is the situation. This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Look into the state of the nation 2027 towards the election. And as we go to then conversations that are being had or not had, whether Gachagua's come out of 55 days of hermitage and says, okay, now we are going to offer himself up as the way to beat to beat the incumbent, he says, is for him to be at the front of this. And the President William Ruto had a sit down with a couple of people the other day and said, you know, he asked President Uhuru Kenyatta to join him in taking a step up the ladder, but he chose to go down somewhere. I don't know, I can't remember the analogy that he used, but essentially that they wanted to work together at some point, but that didn't actually come to be. Now, taking what we've already set the stage with in terms of political parties and the circus that goes on there, to what we see the conversations are had with a few people who have the power, where does this create a space to really have a conversation about what the state is and where it'll take us in the next election?
What has been happening is, like the president said, it was expected of President Uhuru Kenyatta, just like all the other presidents, to just retire, be relaxed, and let someone continue with their tenure, like he was allowed maybe by Kibaki. But Uhuru, you have to remember, Uhuru is still young, he's energetic, he has been around, he has enjoyed the trappings of power, he has been around, even enjoying being the king of the mountain. So, because the last time we heard about Mount Kenya Kingpin was with Uhuru Kenyatta, because he was endorsed by Kina Kibaki, Meshoki, and the rest. There's now the other king who has come, but I don't know who endorsed him, but he has forced his way to be the king. So with the current politics, as we are seeing them, when you see Rigiji pushing himself now to be the flag bearer, people call Rigiji a bully, a prefect, and all that. If you ask me, Rigiji is the most hardworking politician in United Alternative Opposition, if you ask me, because he has always, by the way, if he goes to America, as he is saying, in the next couple of days, there will be very minimal political rallies and activities. That's what has been happening all the time. So he is, give credit to him because give him what he deserves, because he has been pushing that way, and he has a right to say that he wants to be a flag bearer. In fact, I would say, and I want to predict here, that one, Rigathi Gachagua will be in the ballot. He'll be allowed by the Court of Appeal to say that he was treated unfairly, as we saw in the High Court. He will be a presidential candidate. And if he is, this will give President William Ruto a very easy win, because if you look at all the other candidates as they are, if you look at, let's analyze them one by one very fast. If you look at Kalonzo is coming out as weak in terms of resources, in terms of clout, in terms of, this is his last bullet, more or less. So if Kalonzo is unable to clinch this one and be the flag bearer, truth be told, either by design or by mistake or whatever it is, 2032 is not for him, okay? Because of the age, also to catch up with him over time. Look at Matiang'i. Matiang'i is a puppet of Uhuru. He's now a deputy in the Jubilee Party, and he's likely to follow whatever Uhuru would say. If Uhuru tells him to remain in the opposition, he will remain there. If he tells them to go to Ruto side, he might go there. And remember, I keep saying, Uhuru Kenyatta is not an enemy. Is a friend of Uhuru, President William Ruto. I give examples of the current government. He has 3-4 cabinet secretaries, the likes of Kabogo, this agriculture.
When you say he has, what does that mean?
I mean, we know the process of how we got the current CSs that we had. We have the experts, more or less. So he has an expert by the name of Kabogo. He has an expert by the name of the agriculture CS. He has an expert by the name of Lee Kenyan, and the others. So what I'm saying is, Matiang'i issue is now about maybe 2032. Now look at the other candidates within this forum. Like Rigiji said, it is easy to say by mouth, but practically, is it possible to have the capacity to run the presidential campaigns? We are told by Moses Kuria, or someone said yesterday, that they are going to America with the president in the month of September. It may be hearsay, but whatever they are going to discuss has a lot of impact on 2027 politics.
Well, I mean, it's the United Nations General Assembly that comes in September. Maybe that's what everybody's traveling for.
Why are we not having Kalonzo going there? Why are we not having Matiang'i? So my point is, as we move to 2027, the presidential candidate who has already even come out right now, who is seen to have a plan of Singapore, Vision 2060, or the whole plan on what he wants to do for this country, is one William Samoei Ruto. The rest are just one term. I will remove. They have no clear plan. And even those who have a plan, the only plan they have is when you get to power, we'll demolish the houses, we'll demolish Shah. I mean, you cannot campaign on a platform of destruction. So my point is, simply put, if the united opposition are not going to organize themselves in a better way than they are, chances are they are going to be defeated. Looking at Sifuna, as I conclude, Sifuna, I am excited and happy with what he is doing. All these other leaders you see are a product of revolt. William Ruto was the current president. His Excellency, the president, is as a result of running away from ODM and building URP. Kalonzo Musyoka ran with the Orange and built Wiper. It was ODM Kenya at that time. Orange something Kenya, ODM Kenya. All these, including Rigiji, has been chased from the current KK government. That's how he formed the DCP. So Sifuna is in the right track with these guys, Kinababu Owino. It is in the right direction that is building this momentum. And if I was Sifuna, I would build it bigger. That train, ningeyeka moshi kabisa, ningeyeka moto kabisa, to the extent that it's unstoppable. But I want to say, as I conclude, winning a presidential seat is not an event. It's a process. Yeah. So sometimes you have to gain some experience over time. Like President William Ruto seems to have had organized himself for over 20 years to get to how he got on the first shot. So don't be surprised when you see Sifuna becoming a running mate of President William Ruto.
Oh, no.
As you respond to that, there is the aspect that as we look at these political parties,
Yes.
everybody just wants to get power.
Yes.
But it's then important for Mwananchi to equally relate anyone who is in this elective position and what that means to them. I am voting you as my member of parliament because at the end of the day, expect proper legislation that I will be heard, I will be represented, and that oversight will happen. Is it about time that even as political players will play their chess there, they will move in different directions, that Mwananchi needs to stay true that is my star. I am focusing on that and not the finger. Because if you fix from MCA, members of parliament, Senate, by default, Kenyans will equally look at the bigger picture and say, leadership as well starts from the top. So if you elect a proper president, then even appointments will make sense.
Oh, okay. Dennis, I've seen what you've done. He's brought us full circle. But in politics, let me tie the two comments together. In politics, there's a theory that is called diversionary theory of politics. Usually, diversionary theory of politics plays in foreign policy mainly. But in local politics, you see diversionary theory of politics in play. And why do I say this? Let's go back to the meeting. Let's go back to the discussion that was had, or the tiff that has been there between His Excellency President William Ruto and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. For me, I feel like that's a diversion. If you look at the events culminating to this discussion about Uhuru, and if you look at the surrogates of UDA, from Hassan Omar in Mombasa, a lot of UDA surrogates are attacking President Uhuru. And also some on President Uhuru's side are also in defense of President Uhuru. And the reason why they're in defense is because we often see our leaders as ethnic institutions. When you attack Uhuru Kenyatta, the perception out there is that you're attacking Kikuyus. If you attack William Ruto, the perception out there is that you're attacking the Kalenjin. And this plays back to ethnic mobilization. Our politics is about ethnic mobilization. If there's anything that 2024 Gen Z revolution taught us, is that there's a radical shift from ethnic mobilization to issues. Now, what legacy politicians are struggling with is trying to keep the electorate captive in ethnic discussions. And that's why I'm saying, if you look at, for example, in hindsight, UDA and the president have been on the back foot since Homa Bay, and since Sifuna started gaining some momentum. And if you want to know that they have been on a back foot, the president went back to Eldoret. Usually when you see a politician going back to their home base to rally the troops at home, it means that they are now on a back foot. The tide has kind of shifted. And then if you look at, for example, Uhuru Kenyatta, DCP, like he has rightly said, has cemented its foothold in Mount Kenya. Whether it is by force, I mean, he probably tried to negotiate his way there, was not given the opportunity, but he has forced his way and he's now, to be honest, the kingpin. If you go on the ground, it is DCP that actually in Mount Kenya that has actually a lot of following. Now, how do so you have both the former president on a back foot, you have the current president on a back foot. How do we then shift? How do we divert the attention from the fact that we're on the back foot? So you introduce this thing of Uhuru Kenyatta is funding his Esponyo for Sifuna. You start now discussing the conduct of the former president. When we know the Constitution allows him, actually the Presidential Retirement Benefits Act only says that his benefits can be removed by Parliament with a 2/3 vote, and that is if he holds a position in the opposition. And there's a case to be made, whether he's the party leader of Jubilee or the head of Azimio. A case can be made on removing his benefits based on the fact that he holds a position. But that is neither here or there. I think the bigger picture is what, Dennis, you were asking, is what do Kenyans want?
Yes.
I feel like we are being diverted by non-starter issues. Whether President, the reason why UDA, for example, will talk about President Uhuru Kenyatta. Why are they scared of President Uhuru Kenyatta? It's the resources, it's the network. They feel like if this guy sponsors the opposition has a fighting chance. They'll have the resources, they'll have the network. So that's but the real issue here is not about personalities. We really need to move from politics of personality, politics of ethnic mobilization. And that's why I'm saying that if you talk to the younger generation of voters who are out there, and the 9 million who didn't vote in the last election, they don't care whether former President Uhuru Kenyatta is sponsoring Sifuna or not. They don't care whether he's reconstituting Azimio or not. What they care about is the issues, the bread and butter issues on a daily basis. So we'll continue throughout these 350 days. There will be a pull back to ethnicity, but there will be also a pull back to the issues. So I would urge Kenyans to concentrate. Don't concentrate on the minor issues. Concentrate on the major issues.
Don't focus on the finger.
Yes, don't focus on the finger. Focus on the stars. Don't look at Uhuru Kenyatta and President William Ruto. That is not what Kenyans are about. We're not about the personalities. This future is not, this election is not going to be about the past. Everybody keeps talking about the past. There are two major consequential things that have happened from the time Moi was in power. 16 years ago, we got a new constitution. So the games and the dynamics that were being played by Moi cannot work today. That's one. Two, the Gen Z revolution of 2024 happened. It cannot be ignored. It's not business as usual. I know people are trying to drag us back to business as usual. It is not business as usual. When you see the crowds, the organic crowds that Sifuna is pulling, he actually doesn't really need that much capital. I know there's some who will say, and my colleague here said that to run a presidential campaign, you require a lot of resources, a lot of money, you require a lot of experience. No, Africa is full of people who are DJs and became presidents. So what is so difficult? If you look at Obama's trajectory, Obama was a first-time senator, probably the same age as Sifuna, did not have the resources, was not part of the Democratic Party establishment, did not have the resources, but he was able to move the masses, he was able to get the people on board, and he was able to become the president of the United States. So this framework that we have, where people have to do certain things to be an MP, to be a governor, to be a president, that framework, we are breaking that framework. People know what people want is authenticity. It's not money, it's authenticity. And then the idea. How are you going to change my life? That is what people are interested in.
Bosco? You're shaking your head vehemently.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. I totally disagree with some of the issues you just talked about. The young people, they don't care and all that. Because personally, I'm vying for a position of Member of Parliament in Manyata constituency, the one which was previously held by Mukunji, who is now vying for governorship position. And I would like to say this. The young people in this country are failing us badly. Failing us badly.
Okay.
If you look at Orkarao, we didn't see them vote. The young people, if they want to participate, like I want to do, like to be the change in this country, they must collect that vote, register as a voter, and throw it in the ballot. Having that vote is not enough. Why am I saying that? He has talked about the Gen Z, what happened, the revolution.
2024.
That was not enough. What is enough is to, if they want to elect their own. By the way, I want to ask myself a question. Why are Gen Zs not fronting their own candidates?
They are there.
They're there.
Who is their presidential candidate? Give me one.
Oh, you want a presidential candidate?
I'm just asking about a presidential candidate. Sifuna is not a Gen Z.
No, you see.
I am not a Gen Z. Bro, you had your
Gen Z is a
Bro, you had
spirit.
your time.
Okay, so you want...
What I'm saying
you want
is,
a
my
Gen-
point I'm making
I'm
is...
asking.
Why don't... Sorry?
You want a Gen Z presidential candidate. All these other positions doesn't matter.
Let me make my point.
No, I'm asking. You said you want a Gen Z presidential. So I'm asking.
Let me make my point. If Gen Z are very serious about changing this country, we could be seeing them fronting their own as a presidential candidate. We had Morara, they pulled him down. We had this gentleman, they pulled him down. What I'm saying is, right now, Ndungu, I want to tell you, factually, all the Gen Zs are in their own political parties. Either Gen Z who is from Kalenjin is in UDA there. If the Gen Z is from where he's talking about Sifuna, they don't have a party as at now. What I'm saying is the issue of Gen Zs moving to their own political parties, under their own leaders, will not help them. What will help them, if they want to bring change in this country, let them unite, as they said themselves, they are leaderless, they are this and that. Let them even form their own political party. Let them all have their own presidential candidate. That way, they are going to be able to change, to bring the change they are very hungry about. When this Daktari talked about, what Daktari talked about, they don't care about this, they don't care. Let me tell you with a story. They really need to care. And you know why? When we keep saying...
what did I say they don't care about?
Can I finish, please?
No, you need to qualify.
Debate is... I finish. So the thing is, they really need to care, and the issue of that does not concern me is what brings apathy during the elections. The issue of, in the last election, and we could be having another apathy in 2027. They need to care because of this story of a farmer who had a big farm, and in his farm had animals. And in his farm, in his house, there were so many rats. He brought a trap and in the house and said, we want to capture the rats. The chicken ran outside telling the animals, the goats, the cows, that, hey, you guys, there's a trap in the house. Do you know what the animals told him? Told the chicken? We don't care, as we don't come to the house where the old man lives. One day, the trap captured something in the trap. Instead of a rat, it captured a rat. It captured a snake. Then the lady of the house told the husband, can you come and help me to get the rat? Then they found it was not a rat, it was a snake. Then the gentleman took the snake with his hand, he was beaten, and ran to hospital. He died. After the old man died, the first day of the funeral arrangement, they slaughtered the chicken. The second day they slaughtered the goat. The other day they slaughtered on the funeral day, because it was a popular man, they slaughtered the cow. Did the trap concern the animals? Yes, it did. That's what I meant.
Okay,
Gen Z.
Take the last one from you.
You know, I didn't. When I said
they
Gen
don't
Z,
care.
They don't care about what? They don't care about personality politics. That's what I meant. They don't care about ethnic politics. They care about the issues that affect their daily lives, which are primarily economic issues. Whether Gachagua is going to be on the ballot or not, in fact, that is the worst thing that can happen. If I was President Ruto and I wanted to win, I would ensure that Gachagua is on that ballot.
But it will happen.
And that is what's going to happen. But the person that they fear the most are the other candidates that is not the Gachagua candidature. So just for the record, when I say that Gen Zs actually don't care, they don't care about the petty politics that we have been used to, which is the ethnic politics that has nothing. So now that you are attacking Uhuru Kenyatta, how does that benefit my life? Now that you're attacking William Ruto, how does that benefit my life? What I care is can I get a job after I have graduated?
Right.
Do I have 3 square meals on the table? Do I have opportunity? Those are the things that the young people care about.
But do you agree that Gen Z need to have their own?
And this notion that Gen Zs didn't show up in Olkalau, I don't know what statistics they used. You know, a funny thing about Gen Zs and millennials, especially Gen Z, sometimes Gen Zs look older than millennials just by physical appearance. I don't know if it's a GMO that they're eating. So if you look at a line of voters, how do you know that those people are not Gen Zs who are voting? Where do these statistics? It's part of the propaganda that is being pushed by the traditional political parties to kind of insinuate that Gen Zs are not taking their place. The same way people did not see the 2024 wave coming,
Yeah.
is the same way, I can guarantee you, is the same way that there will be a wave. And remember, how many Gen Zs do we have? How many millennials are there? Over 9 million. There's a silent majority in this country that does not attend roadshows, that does not put on party colors, that is not being paid to be in the streets, that is sitting at home, reflecting on their lives, and they will be on the ballot. They will be on the day of the ballot. They will be in the queues voting. So it is upon political parties to then articulate what their ideas are, so that we can have an election and we have the Kenya that we want.
Right.
Indeed. This is our conversation this morning. And, one could also argue that, it is at the lower levels, the lowest levels of government, that you actually need your most strategic people so that they can actually get things done. That could be an argument, but it's also one for another day. We want to thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us in this conversation this morning. And time does not allow us to go more than this. Dr. Muita Ndungu is a government affairs and policy expert, public policy expert. Bosco Kira, political analyst. Interestingly, both of you running for office in certain parts. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Good morning at 8:03.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4. This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.